Hello everybody, it's me, Adam, from the internet channel that you're watching now, this here. You know who I am. Hi, hello. We're gonna talk about what happened in March because it's the end of the month and it's time for the end of the month vlog. Now would be the time to play music and run an intro and imagine some fancy animation. I don't have anything for you, I got nothing, sorry. I do want to tell you about some stuff that's coming up, and I want to review what happened in March and just kind of hang out for a little bit and get squared away. When I think about March, I think the stuff that mostly I think about, the stuff that like comes to mind immediately is the games that we played, right? In March, we played Into the Breach, which was super fun. Really into the Breach. That was really good. Giant robot game by the makers of FTL. I played a lot of it. I still need to finish it, but I did the game, but there's achievements. There's one achievement left to do. So I'll probably go back and do that in April. I really want to. But I've also been really busy with Far Cry 5. Right at the end of the month, Far Cry 5 came out, and like, whoa, what a train wreck. It's been a hell of a game so far. We're still working on it, but that's been really fun. And we played Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, which I thought was pretty good, but I probably won't go back to because... So there was this post-mortem one of the developers was doing that was floating around on Twitter recently, like in the last week of March, and you may have seen it, and it talks about kind of the state of indie games and how Where the Water Tastes Like Wine kind of was fiscally like a big flop, which is... It happens. I mean, most video games are unsuccessful, but it's hard when the game is good and interesting. My only real complaint about the game was that its mechanics kind of felt tacked on, but the story was great, the music was great, the writing and the acting and all of the visual stuff was great, but like, sometimes I think this happens with indie games where they get caught up in an aesthetic, but they have a harder time making the gameplay work because gameplay is very hard to get right and requires a lot of Q&A and a lot of work, which isn't to say that art is easy because God knows art is hard, but it's just interesting to see this postmortem. If you are interested in the game at all, obviously you can watch my playthrough of it here on YouTube, but go check out that postmortem. Go find it on the internet and read it because it says some really interesting things about games and kind of where we're at in the non-AAA game space. Definitely worth a look. Tabletop stuff, we played a bunch of Court of Swords. Nebula Jazz has been done for a while now, and I'm really feeling the pain. I want sci-fi, goddammit. I've got an itch. I'm going into withdrawal, sci-fi withdrawal. But Court of Swords has been really fun. We've been doing some interesting things with pacing and with kind of a overarching conflict in the setting. I feel like every month you, the fans, get more and more invested in what's going on in the world, which for me is so important. So important. So please keep that up. Keep talking on the forums. Keep tweeting at me about the game. Have theories. Discuss, because that stuff, it gives me, it's fuel. I love it. It's so good. So to that end, we did our very first Stars Without Number kind of intro stream. I don't even have a title for the new roleplay Stars Without Number show yet, but we did a little stream where we looked through the rules and I talked a little bit about the factions. You'll be able to watch that while I'm at PAX. And hopefully that'll get you warmed up to join a faction and get familiar with the rules for Stars Without Number. Because even if you're not playing it yourself, it might be worthwhile checking that out so that you can kind of understand what's going on when we go into doing the show. We had a cast. The unnamed Stars Without Number, not Swan Song 2 for the Love of God show. We had a cast. We had 4 players, and then we had a player drop out, and now we're waiting on another player. And as of the end of March, that player is not yet confirmed. We're giving them a deadline soon. I want to get this thing off the ground. I know everybody else does. JP's going a little stir crazy, so we'll be on that as soon as possible. And in the meantime, we're going to do another stream when I get back from PAX, and I'm going to create all the factions. And if I can't play the game with my players, I can invite you into the design space, and we can hang out and we can talk about it. That might help scratch that itch a little bit for me, and hopefully for you. Hopefully that'll get you excited about the show, because that's what I want. I want you to like the stuff that I do. Please. Please, for the love of God, please love me. That's the roleplay stuff, right? We're doing Court of Swords. It's going good. The month was great. I really want to play Stars Without Number. And then on the Roll20 side, Tomb of Annihilation, going strong. We're entering into the dungeon-y part. The adventure has, without spoiling it, sort of 3 distinct modes. We are exiting the first mode and kind of entering Act 2, which should lead us into the big intense stuff in Act 3. If you've been watching, great, awesome, I hope you love it. If you have not been watching Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation, it is so fun. It's about as good as I could ever hope stock Dungeons and Dragons could be. And that's something that's been really interesting about it, is because we're playing it in D&D's house, right? We're on their channel. I haven't felt like I've been able to, or really desired to, mod the system at all to bend or break it. Like Court of Swords, anything goes. I can fuck with 5e as much as I like, but for Tomb, we try to keep it like pretty. You could pick up a player's handbook and you could pick up a copy of the adventure and you could just run it, and you don't need any of Adam's weird rules. So it's been cool. It's been really cool doing that. I've been into it. So that's going great. Burning Wheel, we're coming up on what I think is probably going to be the end of Series 3 pretty soon. We're nearing episode 30, and we've done a few arcs. We've done some trait votes. I think things are kind of coming to a head, and we're going to decide what to do after that. I think we're going to do like another mini-series, right? Like a 10 to 20 episode of a different game. You may have some suspicions as to what that game might be. I think we're looking at adding a 5th person if everything goes well. Nothing is announceable yet, but if you've been paying attention to me on the internet, it's not like a huge mystery what I kind of want to do. So keep an eye out for the announcement for that. That'll happen almost certainly in April. So what is happening in April? What is going on in April? We are starting April with a bang, because after Matt got sick and we couldn't play, we're finally doing the Blue Jay World one-shot. So if you were watching this the day I released it, if you're watching this on the 1st of April, you know that this afternoon at 1 p.m. Pacific, we're playing Dungeon World with Blue Jay, who is running it, which I'm so excited about. Matt Mercer is going to play, Holly Conrad, Strix from Dice Camera Action, Trash Mama from the wrestling one-shot, Nadja, our very own Twitch mod, Nadja Tristere, and then me. I get to play a role-playing game, and I get to play Dungeon World, which has not happened in years. So I'm really excited and like a little nervous that I am gonna misremember the rules of my own game. It's always a challenge when you're the GM not to backseat the other game master and to just be like, doesn't matter how you do it, Adam, just shut up, just let it happen. It's a challenge for me. In this case, I'm producing the show and I'm playing, but I created the game, and usually I'm the GM, so just you tune in at the very least to watch me struggle. Watch me be like, I will describe what my character is doing. That is my job. I will answer questions. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a couple of ideas for characters. I'm either gonna go kind of silly and over the top, or I'm gonna go serious, depending on the tone. I think it'll be a mix of both. I think Holly's gonna be a druid. It's gonna be sweet. I'm excited. I hope that you have already watched it, or that you will tune in and watch it later. I believe that the VODs will be live on Blue Jay's channel, and then obviously on her YouTube, so you can check that out then. And that's the first thing in April, immediately followed by PAX. So PAX is coming up. I've got 4 panels I'm streaming. I've got 8 or 9 total things that I'm doing. I'm speaking at the Kickstarter Lounge. I'm doing some work with Versus Evil. I'm doing a stream from the Intel streamer area. Luke and Dro and I are finally getting to do our Power Word Rock, Heavy Metal, and Fantasy panel. Holy shit, it's going to be so fun. Definitely try to catch that one live, because the VODs will not survive because copywritten music. So check that out. PAX, it's basically the entire first week of April. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to settle back into things. And I've got my fingers crossed that we can work out all the details so that the next time I do one of these, right, going into May, we've either had our first episode of Stars Without Number, or we are about to do so. That's my hope for April. That's my biggest goal. In my non-streaming life, this month marks the, I think, 10 or 11 week, it's not an anniversary, anniversaries are years, but I've been doing this cooking thing for almost 3 months now, and I did it because, I started doing it because I hated all the restaurants that I was eating at. I was just burned out on all the restaurants around me, and I didn't want to be in that position where I'm just ordering food all the time. So I hooked up with one of those like Blue Apron style, like they send you ingredients and recipes and you just make food every day. And I've been doing that 4 times a week for almost 3 months, and I'm actually like getting kind of good at it. If you watch my Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, you will have seen all of my macro food photos, because God knows I can't do anything in my life without photographing it. But I've been cooking and it's fun and cool, and people keep asking me like, when are you going to do a cooking stream? But like these meals take a half an hour to make. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a video like Adam makes pork chops or whatever. And we can pretend like I'm making you dinner. It's very romantic. I guess the last big thing that's sort of going on for me is that I am obsessed with photography right now. Like, I mean, I'm always kind of like consumed by it, but right now all I want to do, I have a day off and I go for a 4-hour walk and I take pictures. I go to get groceries and I bring my camera. I can't stop thinking about it. And part of it is because I got myself a new toy. This is my new baby. His name is Leica. He's German. So I bought that camera recently, but I have wanted a Leica camera since I started photography. They are kind of expensive, and I never felt like I was in a place to justify it. I was like, oh, photography, it's just like a hobby or whatever. But like, I am feeling so passionate about creating photographical art these days, which is so nice, and I have the means to do so. So I took the leap. And I have been having so much fun. I'm really hoping to do another Lightroom editing stream and talk about photography in more detail, because I could go into a great amount of detail about why my new camera is so cool and why I love it so much, but that's not for this. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to try and do that maybe after PAX. I'm going to take lots of photos at PAX, and maybe we'll do an editing stream again, because I know those are really nice for me, super relaxing. Maybe you like them too. Other than that, it's business as usual for the rest of April. We're going to do roleplay shows, Roll20 stuff. I'm sure some special shit will pop up, and as it does, I will let you know. As always, follow me on Twitter at SkinnyGhost. You can support the channel best by visiting twitch.tv/Adam Koebel and just banging on that subscribe button, or at the very least just hang out and watch me stream. Live views are what keep me going. Thank you so much for giving me a platform to share my photography and talk about cooking and play video games and just do all of this. I'm eternally grateful, and you're the best. Thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's have a good April. It's almost summer. It's practically summer. I live in Canada. It's either winter or it's not. So hooray, winter's over. Secretly, I really like winter, though. Bring back the darkness. The darkness.